welcome back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
And remember, our goal is always to guide you to personal and financial wellness.
Happy Saturday and welcome to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., where we get to share with you what you need to know, want to know, should know about real estate, finance, and so much more. So thank you for joining us this Saturday, and we have a great show for you, as we always have, for now over 7 years. That's right. You can find out more by going to donandgino.com. And a couple of things there. One, you can join us right here at the studio by clicking on the live streaming button, and while you see our wonderful custom-built studio right here at Skyline Home Loans in the Sunkist building, and you will see my compatriot, Mr. Gino Franti, of course.
I'm back.
And back by popular demand, probably been on our show about 30 times or so, Mr. Lou Esbin with Esbin Law, one of my originals, and still great.
How are you guys?
Good to have you on the show again, buddy.
I was actually on hiatus for a couple of weeks while I went on vacation, so it's kind of nice to be in front of the mic again.
Oh, yeah, you'll probably forget how.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, Gino was off a couple of weeks for bad behavior, so we brought him back. And then we also brought, of course, Lou Esbin back. And Lou is one of the top bankruptcy attorneys, business law, attorneys, you name it. I don't know how you would describe it, because you're doing so much more than just, bankruptcy is like, oh, if you need one, I can still help you with that.
Well, I am one of 162 certified bankruptcy specialists
It does
in the
go
state.
up a little bit.
It kind of stays where it is, you know.
It was like
168, 145.
114 at one time, then 144. Now
well, we had a
162.
big push where when the economy was in the skids, a lot of lawyers tried to become certified specialists, and so the California Board of Legal Specialization, on which I'm a commissioner for the last 4 years, we had a big push to get more lawyers to certify, and so we did. So we raised the numbers from about 114 to 162.
Okay, that's out of how many lawyers?
About 330,000 licensed lawyers in the state of California,
Okay.
dead or alive.
Obviously, that's a small percentage that have taken the time, effort to become a certified expert in bankruptcy.
Yeah, actually, that's a good thing to kind of go over, is that the state of California has about 330,000 330,000 licensed lawyers. The state of California has a specialist certification program. I sit on the California Board of Legal Specialization, which oversees the entire program. So of the 330,000 lawyers, only 5,000 have been certified as specialists in 11 areas of law. So if you are looking for a lawyer who's a family lawyer, estate planning, criminal law, bankruptcy, best to look for someone who's a certified specialist, because certified specialists are re-vetted every 5 years, whereas the rest of the lawyers are not.
To just get their license and run with it, huh?
Yeah, and they can literally, there's a lot of good lawyers that are not certified specialists, but literally a lawyer can go from, cradle to grave and never be looked at by the state bar, and yet they can kind of be rumbling along the bottom.
Is there any continuing education as an
Well,
attorney?
yes,
CE credits and things like that? Yeah.
Yes, but you're required to take CLE. But as a certified specialist, you have to you have more CLE to take. You have to take CLE in your certification area, and then you're re-vetted. So you have to go out and get referrals from judges and lawyers and others who then have to review
Vouch for you to a
vouch
certain
for you,
extent, yeah.
and then it goes through. There's a board. There's a board of legal. There's a law advisory commission that reviews all the lawyers for re-vetting, and then it comes up to the California Board of Legal Specialization, who then oversees that. So you may have a lawyer who is trying to re-vet, but maybe that he's got malpractice actions against him or complaints against her, and that may result in them not being recertified. And so if your listeners or your viewers are looking for lawyers, best to go to the State Bar website, go into the specialist link, and look for a specialist in your area, and that's a good way to begin.
Oh, that's a great tip.
Yeah, I love that because we know in our industry the differences of just somebody who's taking an application versus an expert that's going to give you sound advice.
Right.
It's night and day.
And the difference is, like, we all remember in 2008, all of a sudden, all these realtors became certified short sale specialists.
Yeah.
Yeah, we remember that well.
Really? How did you do that?
Right.
Well, they filled out a piece of paper, and all of a sudden, well, it's a little bit different. For a lawyer to become a certified specialist, they had to be practicing for 5 years. They have to sit for an exam. There is a scrutiny that they have to go through, and not every lawyer who sits for the exam and passes the exam becomes a certified specialist.
Yeah, so it's a really high level of scrutiny.
It is that I support. Obviously, I sat on, and I was chair of the Bankruptcy Law Advisory Commission for 8 years, and then I was elevated to the California Board of Legal Specialization, which is a 4-year appointment. In fact, we have our meeting on Friday, and I really do believe in the program. I believe that it's part of the regulatory function of the State Bar. State Bar last year became detached, so you have sections that are not part of the State Bar any longer, and then now the State Bar is strictly a regulatory agency, and the California Board of Legal Specialization is part of the State Bar, and we regulate certified specialists. And it really is a great
Do
program.
you actually help create, I know that lawyers refer to case law all the time, but do you actually help push for laws to be pushed through based on case law, or changes on, like, for example, for us in our world, it would be underwriting, right? So they say, well, here's Fannie Mae's guidelines. Well, some of it's subject to interpretation, and we don't really have case law other than urban legends. Right. Or, hey, I remember once I did this, right?
But that's a trade association. So the State Bar is not a trade association. The State Bar is a regulatory arm of the California courts.
Okay.
Okay. So that the California State Bar does not have a lobbying function. Okay. It is a regulatory function that administers the exams for lawyers to become attorneys. It does a great job at discipline and providing a public service. And then the California Board of Legal Specialization is part of that. It's a step up, and it really is to protect the public interest. And the public, if you're looking for someone who's does trust in estates, or family law, or criminal law, or admiralty, there's 11 areas of specialty. Someone should go to the State Bar, go on to that link, and find themselves a certified specialist. And we began by saying, I'm one of 162 certified
that's how we
specialists.
started. meaning you should look for a specialist. That's what I was bringing to the table, and why you're part of America's Professional Resource Group. Our go-to is because you are one of the best, most experienced, and most educated in that field. Therefore, you can help them. What I like to is, and we'll go more into this probably in the next segment, is that you can help a lot of individuals or businesses with more than just, hey, I can help you out with the bankruptcy. There's people that can push paperwork, but there's a lot more behind the scenes to do it right.
Yeah, because the way I look at the world is I take everything that I've done and I look ahead, and I try to advise people on how not to fail.
And I love that. So we've talked about that for 7 years now, that how not to fail, because pushing the paperwork through but not completing it correctly or looking at the future, like you said, could get you in trouble.
Well, or the best client for me is someone who comes in way before there's a problem. It's like going to a doctor for a physical every year. How am I? Literally, someone can spend $100 and see me every year. And say,
they should.
And they should.
They should.
So
it's a gift.
And here's $100. Okay, let's look at where I am. Where's my debt? Where are my assets? What am I doing? Oh, I should go talk to someone who does the trust in estates, or I should go talk to this one. Yeah, that's looking ahead and being proactive. Too many people today, too many members of the public think of lawyers as where you go to when the when the fan has already been hit.
Right. The fan has already been hit. I like
that. My position is no. Come for a checkup.
Well, we talk about that on our show, on why we bring you on the show and why we bring attorneys and estate planners and people. Some people, like you said, they're like, I don't want to go to an attorney unless I really need one. But you're a normal, good dude that people can talk to you and say, hey, Lou, let's go over some stuff. What do you think of my scenario? It's not like, I'm in trouble. It's different. You can be proactive for them and be an advocate for them and a resource.
And you guys know from your own clients, because you've been very gracious over the years. I don't always tell someone to file bankruptcy.
No, you
In
don't.
fact, a lot of times you don't. You tell them not to. And sometimes they're frustrated by that because they were looking for the easy way out.
Right.
And you're like, well, wait a second. You could get out of this thing if you do X, Y, and Z. And they're like, oh, that sounds like work.
Oh, it's too much work.
Yeah, oh my God, I just wanted to lose weight by taking a pill. You don't have that?
All right, so we're not about just giving you a pill to prescribe a pill and fix
Fix your
everything.
finances.
No, there's no.
That's why we have our show. That's why it's still been
That's
around
right.
for
There's no
over
magic
7 years.
pill.
There's no. All right, so we have to go to break now. So when we come back, we're going to go over with Lou a few items about basically an economic outlook of what's going on and where we're at and what you need to pay attention to based on where the market is today and where it might be going. This is good stuff, so don't go away. We'll be right back.